Welcome to Real Money Talks. Real strategies from the moneymakers and the world changers that you can use to make millions, keep those millions, multiply your wealth, and build your team. Here's your host, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View, Loral Langemeier.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this year's Results or Regrets special event, one of our favorite events of the year. We are still working to get a bunch of people in here, so just be patient. We'll continue to let you in. Chrissy will be taking attendance. Before we get started and introduce Laurel, Steve, would you like to give them some tech training real quick so they can get the best experience?
Absolutely. Welcome, everybody, to Results or Regrets. Tonight's broadcast is actually presented by Loral Langemeier's YouTube channel. So those of you that have been out on YouTube watching and binge watching all of Laurel's YouTube videos, we're going live over there for that audience as well. Now, depending on how you're attending the show tonight, those of you that are my techies, you're on multiple screens. You probably have your additional third screen with an iPad or something like that. You all curate your own experiences. So I trust you guys. You guys can be here and consume tonight's content and production as you see fit. Now, for those of us that are on one screen, you're on one computer, laptop, there's a couple of settings that I want you to hit for the best experience. Right now, you're seeing something at the top of your screen, the little share screen bar that says you are now viewing Integrated Wealth Systems Screen Share Screen. Right next to that is a little view options menu. I want you to click on that little view options menu, that little tick mark, and there's 2 options there that'll make this a better experience for you. I want you to hit side-by-side mode. That'll turn the slides to the left hand of your screen. You'll have the video panel in the middle, and then it'll relocate your chat window and your participant panel to the right of the screen. And then the second option is fit to screen, because then what will happen is the slides, if they're zoomed in or something's happening on your computer, it'll shrink them down and fit to size so you can see the entire screen. Now from here, you can toggle between the gallery view so you can see everybody's awesome smile, or you can go into the speaker view so you can focus on Laurel, focus on the speaker. So that's the experience for tonight. Also, the chat is not turned on for direct messaging because of the nature of our program. We want you to lean in, listen. You can definitely jump into the chat, ask questions, and interact with the hosts and the co-hosts, but we will not have any direct messaging available. Also, last but not least, we are recording tonight. So as we progress into our evening VIP spot, we will be separating into 2 rooms. Those of you that are here will stay in on this room, and then we'll have the VIP room available for you. That happens automatically. However, if you leave and then try to come back in, you may have trouble getting back into that VIP spot. So we recommend that you stay here the entire time. Definitely, if you need to go and do a 1-task break and come back, just turn your camera off, mute out, and then we'll make sure you get in the right place. That being said, back over to you, Andrew.
Actually, all right, cool. Also,
before we do that, I was looking at the chat. If people don't have sound, what do they do? Could you give like little overview instructions? There's a few people who said they don't have sound.
Oh, yes, absolutely. So, and then also those of you that are on an iPad and an iPhone or a mobile device, you're going to have to swipe left to right to see the slides, to see the video view. You're going to hit those 3 little dots and choose chat to be able to jump into the chat. Now, if you're not getting any audio, I'm going to put the phone number into the chat. You can actually dial in and receive audio and then have the video on your device. So I'll give you that option. Now, those of you that need to switch in and out from different audio sources, those little down arrows that are next to your microphone icon, also for your video icon, that's where you're going to pick the video source and the audio source. So those of you that have like a podcast setup, or maybe you're used to having multiple audio sources and you can't hear anything, you want to hit that little down arrow in your microphone and choose the audio source until you hear the sound. And with that said, we'll go back to you.
Awesome. Also, I highly suggest you take notes. Laurel's going to go very fast. We only have the main hour tonight, and we're going to cover a lot of stuff. So really lean in, pay attention. And without further ado, do we have a sizzle we're going to play, or you want to just go, Laura?
Yeah, I'm just going to roll. They know who I am. I hope you all know who I am. Some of you are brand new to us, so welcome. The fastest way to get to know me is my YouTube channel, or my Instagram is at Ask Laurel. We have some imposter accounts over at Instagram that are spelled wrong. So it's at Ask Laurel is mine, the real one. Hopefully we'll be verified very shortly, and then they'll have to go away. And we have over 120 fake TikToks. I always, so I have this new funny thing I made up today. I said, instead of impersonate me, why don't you just hire me so that I can make you a millionaire instead of a ripoff artist? So it's fascinating. So by the way, I just want to speak to that too. I think a lot of you don't realize when you become really successful, you are our target, right? I know some of you, said, I really want to work with you, Laurel. Go to the next slide, Steve. So let's just clarify all this too. I'm an educator. I'm at 22 years in this company, 5 years before. I've been doing this for over 25 years between the Rich Dad Poor Dad brand, where I learned this business and industry, and then moved into my own. And I'm not an advisor, so I can speak freely because it's my gift is to teach you in common sense principles about money. And too many people either teach very high level, what we're really taught in our, at MBA and PhD programs, but that's not who we are. I want to teach you how to, number one, I'm going to teach you more things than you ever thought you'd know about money. Some of you are high income earners and you actually don't know anything about being an entrepreneur and money, and you're overpaying taxes. So we're going to get into some regrets and some of that, but I just want to clarify, like, every shark that I'm aware of has over 100 lawsuits. You women, especially if you're in a very male-dominated space, you'll be attacked like my entire career. I love Sharon Lecter has been my financial mom, mentoring and coaching me through this. I have one underway right now. I'm not scared of it. If you are backing away from me because of any of that, you're making a very, very big mistake, and it will be a regret in the future. Because we're the only company that does what I do. I created this very, very specifically because what we do is where you're never going to find all in one house. We have 28 financial experts. So every category that you can think of, I have an expert that is here to support you. So I facilitate your strategy. And like I say, I've got to pull my books all out. In The Millionaire Maker, which is the basis of all this work, is I lead the strategy in your sequence and you do the work. So if anyone says, well, it doesn't work, it's because you don't do the work. It's worked. There's no way we'd be here this long and educating this long if things weren't working around here. And this year, I can tell you, 2023, I intend to do so much of my coaching for my head of the table members that are my private clients and making so many millionaires next year. I cannot wait for all the results. And I could love their companies. We have so many cool companies that we're coaching. I mean, really different. I mean, from manufacturing to, obviously I'm in cannabis, so I have a lot of cannabis clients, coaches, professional football players. I mean, we have such a cool community that is forming around this work because you all deserve to be millionaires, not 100,000aires, millionaires. It's not that difficult. So I want you to, again, like Andrew said, take some notes. It's not difficult, it's different. And my latest book this year with Kyle, the Make Your Kids Millionaires, all the checklists and everything are on the page. If you haven't got it, it really doesn't matter, even though the title says it's a kid's book, it's really for you parents. And honestly, if I was a single person and not knowing any of this, just going through the checklist of what I did and what Kyle did to our children between 0 and 20 will be jaw-dropping to most of you. And for especially those of you who have lived employee lifestyles, you have no idea, like you don't know what you don't know about the strategies that are available. Because if you walk into, go ahead and go to the next slide, Steve. If you walk into a financial institute, they only do a very one piece of this whole puzzle. And so then what happens is you're the one left to be the quarterback of this team, right? You could go bank it, say Chase, Citibank, or Wells Fargo. You could put your money into a Schwab account. You could go to Fidelity. You could go wherever you want, but they don't talk to each other. And unless you learn enough about money, right? And I really want you to hear this, until you learn enough about money to lead a team of experts. And you say, well, I'm doing a lot of this myself. Well, there's your biggest mistake, right? I don't believe in self-made millionaires. They're team-made. You need to have bookkeepers and accountants and tax strategists and really proper people who know how to self-direct your IRAs from past jobs. So we're an all-inclusive shop. But every person is an independent business. So it's a very unique structure that I put together with a lot of mentoring and a lot of guidance. I've spent over $1 million of my own mentoring and coaching Next year, I'll spend over 100,000 in my own mentoring and coaching. So I'm a student, I'm a teacher, and I'm a student. And I think all of you need to really take that posture of not thinking you know it all, or what can I get from the organization and community? It's what can we collaborate on building to make lots of lives better. And when you think about the medical industry and the wealth, the finance structures of the world, there's very old traditional stuff, right? What I call Western culture stuff. But if you think about the healthiest and the wealthiest, we live in the alternatives. And so I'm going to teach you the alternatives through all the work of the Millionaire Maker. And tonight is really, it's an annual event. We love tonight. Tonight is a setup of the next 20 really month, about 4 weeks. So we'll be back together January 5th for New Year, New You. So this is, how do you end this year? And so one of the things I want to invite you to do, this is our homepage of our Integrated Wealth Systems brand, and there's a quiz. And if you haven't taken the quiz for a minute or two, I think it's critical you go back and take it on an annual basis, because you should be like the book. If you guys have read the book, by the way, this is a great holiday read, and this is a great Christmas gift to anybody that you want to be in this conversation. But in here, there's 7 chapters, seven families that I help make millionaires. Their names have been changed, but the facts about their companies and what they did is exactly what they did. And so how do different people at different levels, and a lot of you understand because I see your profiles and we know a lot about you because the way we do our data and our database. A lot of you are high income earners, but you're overpaying taxes because you're not using the tax code of 81,000 pages. And you're not going to go to LegalZoom to figure this out. You're not going to go to the cheap sites. You need an integrated team to surround you on your millionaire plan. So I asked for 3 to 5 years to make you a millionaire, but I can tell you with the volatile economy, here's the benefit of a recession, increased inflation and high interest rates. The volatility is the strong will survive and the smart will survive. And I'm saying smart because I'm not saying you're not smart. Are you smart in money? Have you ever had a money mentor, like somebody's really teach you money, from debit cards to credit cards to proper use of good debt to leverage to arbitrage? Like, how do you implement all of this in your life so you behaviorally get the result? Some of you conceptually get it, but you're not behaviorally acting. So I want you to take the quiz, see which we reduce the quiz to, there's 4 categories you'll end up in. One of the 4 is where we start our coaching and mentoring with you. So let's jump into the next slide. Again, get a pen and paper.
If I could, before we go too far, I forgot one thing. If you would be so kind to name yourself, your full first and last name. If you don't know how, just pop it in the chat. I'm so-and-so, first, last name, we'll change it for you. But it's crucial because later on, we're going to split rooms and we need to know who's going in each room. So our VIPs will go into one. Everybody else will stay on the other. And if your name is iPhone or iPad, that doesn't help. So please do that if you can. Thank you very much.
If we'll talk, go ahead and put the link in for VIP. It's $97. I'll get to that whole, slide and show you what all that is in a minute. But I want to set this up. So these are 2021, kind of statistic is the results show that up to 80% of New Year's resolutions fall by mid-February. And here's the 2 most famous resolutions that people go into. And, we used to call this resolutions versus results, and now it's regrets versus results, because resolutions, regrets, and live in the kind of same category. It's year after year, you produce the same result because you haven't engaged in new thinking. You haven't, like Steve said, we always say, lean in and learn. We want you to really lean in and understand money. Yesterday, we did a 4-hour big table, which is, our signature community where millionaires are made. And we did 4 hours, and it was really, how do you live corporate life? How do you implement, making sure that you personally don't pay for this anymore, your car, like, how do you live this behaviorally through you and your children? For those of you who we're a big family organization. So how do you actually do it? So it's fun. And that's what we want for you, is to really live it. So to get the results you want, you have to change something. And my challenge to our big table members yesterday is I want you to change 1 habit a day. And between all my 4 Millionaire Maker books, Yes Energy, and Put More Cash, and the YouTube channel, there's one little thing, like stop using your debit card, use your credit card. That's 1 habit. So 365 habits is my challenge to our big table members to change their entire life this year with money. Stop using checks, put yourself on auto pay. I mean, everybody, you still got to have them around, but I mean, how are you really structured and how are you really doing it? That's what I'm passionate about teaching you. So we don't want you to fail this year as we go into 2023. Before we set up 2023, which will be on January 5th, again, new year, new you, you have to complete this year properly. And there's a lot of you who are hesitating to complete this year, and our number of business days, it's counting down, folks. We are down to less than 15, not even 15, probably 10 business days because of the way the holidays fall. We have to enact a lot of work around you corporately, trust-wise, tax-wise. There's some things that have to happen so you don't live in regret. Most people enter a new year and say, I want to lose weight and make more money. Those are the stock and block. Like 90% of people have those two resolutions. I want to get in better shape or whatever. They have a health and a wealth goal. And literally by mid-February, that's gone away and they're back into their own pattern. So we do this to help you start identifying where you can really start shifting and get the support you need. Why most resolutions, again, lack the right, lack commitment to consistent right action. So in the Millionaire Maker, I call it sequencing. You do the right thing at the right time. And so, yesterday we also had Tom Ziegler on. He is going to be our guest for the VIP, if you want to know who's coming on for the VIP. And he's going to talk Zig Ziglar style, performance planning, and how do you create that in a journal, and actually has this beautiful journal they redid of all Zig's work of how to plan 2023. So he'll be sharing that with you VIPs shortly. But even like he said, motion and results are very different. Like a lot of you're in motion, you're busy, but you're not effective, you're not productive because you're not working, and you're working harder versus smarter because you haven't surrounded yourself with, the right team. And team and systems is what we're known for. And again, you're going to fall short because of sequencing. And, my commitment always is I want you to say yes and figure out how without any doubt. Those of you who have been to our Millionaire Intensive, we have 3 big commitment words. One is commitment versus interested. Jumping, like consistently being uncomfortable of moving to the next phase versus plateauing and sitting there for a while. And then the other one is live a decided life. So living a decided life is what creates results. I've decided I'm going to be a millionaire, and I did, right? I did that between 1997 and 1999. 2 years, big commitment, at all costs, meaning I was going to do it. There wasn't hesitation. There were no excuses. And a lot of you are using excuses to get through your life versus using commitments that are solid about, I want that and I will have it. Notice I'm not saying at the cost of other people, at all cost of my excuses and myself. You're your problem if you haven't noticed that. You also, let's head to the next slide, Steve, are your problem because so many of you have not solved this one problem called the people around you, your environment. Your environment is stronger than anything else. So you can say you want, what I'm offering. You can say you want to be a millionaire. You can say you want to have a, big content marketing business like I have. I mean, we do so much content online. And our social platforms have just skyrocketed this year because, again, we've hired the right teams. So as you think about what do you want, you can have no excuses. Here's the big excuses. And you just got to give them up. I don't have time. I don't ever want to hear that. You have time. We all have the same damn clock. So don't use that excuse anymore. Do not say you can't afford it. You can make more money. Every 3 weeks, I teach people how to make money in the marketplace and at the Millionaire Intensive. And you are welcome to come back as many times as long as you're continuing to add and shift for a new result. So please take this quiz. Steve, I'm actually bringing you back into the call to talk about the survey and have people take the survey so we can get some results. What do you want in these categories? And we have a survey. As you can see, do you need tax strategy? Here's what I can just tell you, because you may not know. If you only are an employee or sole proprietor, you are in 100% problem of a tax strategy because we can't even activate the tax. We can't even activate the IRS's options unless you do the first 2 things. And if you go to LegalZoom, I can promise you we're probably going to have to fix them. If you go to some law firms, we have to fix them because lawyers can do entities, but they don't know the tax strategy. We do our entities based on tax strategy. Is Scott out here tonight? I'm just curious. I'd welcome him in. It's fine if he's not. I didn't invite him because I usually don't invite any of my experts here. Experts come to the big table. Self-direct your IRAs. Many of you have had jobs, prior jobs than COVID even. and you haven't moved those monies over and actually got control of them. And you say, well, I wouldn't even know what to do. I know that we're going to teach you. Do you want CBD, cannabis, cryptocurrencies, huge asset classes, and rock and rolling, legacy planning. We did a Gen W conference. That product by the way, those of you ordered it, it was $197. Actually, I'll keep it at $197 unless we moved it. Andrew, if you want to put in the link for our generational wealth conference, when that product is ready, which I have to shoot a few more like connecting videos because it's 3 days of work. Then that product will be delivered to all of you in a course format. And it will, for those of you who don't have it, by January 6th, that will go to $497. And really, it should be a $2,000 course because of the value that's in that. Do you want legacy planning? What else do you want? Steve, if you want to continue to scroll, how do I scroll this little survey?
Yep. So the survey popped up on everybody's computer device. So if you want to take a moment to go, just click on that little window and check mark which ones you want. It's multiple choice answers for both questions. So as you start to do the tick marks, then we'll start to see the data on our side. So take a moment, hit that window, click which ones you want, which of the following topics are you interested in for 2023, and then what kinds of events you'd like to attend in the new year. So take a moment to do that as we continue. And those of you that are on a desktop or on a device, you may have to scroll or swipe or move some of your windows around so you can see it.
And Steve, just a note from yesterday's table. Will you send this survey? We didn't survey our table. And so when we send the replay from yesterday, let's make sure we add this survey so we hear from everyone that is committed in the community already.
Yep, we'll do.
All right. So we're going to leave this up for a little while. Because what I'd like is your number one thing. What's the number one result? Now, remember, I'm the money and business expert, right? Finance business. So if you have one thing you want to achieve in next year, put it in the chat so I can see it quicker, so I can continue that dialogue with you. And is it making money? Is it like getting your foundation of your life so your money's going into the right bank account and being paid by the right bank accounts? That is a critical, I call that forecasting. You've got to get that pattern of your money right. And we can do that in literally less than 30 days if you do everything we say. And so some of you say, well, I don't have time to do this. I'm already so busy. I know. Here's the thing about money, though. You're already doing it wrong. You're already doing it in a habitual pattern that you learned probably from your parents, or I was going to say, those 5 people that are next to you, they're your environment. They're the ones that are going to support you on this journey, or they're going to make fun of you on this journey. So are you declaring to everyone at all costs with total commitment and no compromise at all that you are on this journey and you have big goals? Like, what do you want next year? Put it in the chat. Can they put it in the chat, Steve? They can chat to me.
Yeah, so they can just put it in the chat. If you guys are seeing the poll, here's what I'll do. I'll try and relaunch it. So let me end the poll right now. And then let me see if it'll let me relaunch it. It might not let me relaunch it. So hold on one second. Relaunch poll. Here we go. So relaunch poll. Yep. All right. Relaunch. So does everybody see that window now in front of them? Okay, perfect. Yep. Just take a moment to click on your answers there. Hit submit, and then we'll start to see those on our side.
Yeah, a lot of making money, a lot of tax strategies, content marketing for sure. Marie, we'll get to that. Cynthia wants a $250,000 company. Any of you, and I just want to do a little goal setting and start preparing you. If you are like, your first 100,000 is the hardest money to ever make, for sure. Like, it is the hardest money to make because you're going from an employee thinking to learning to be an entrepreneur. And even with like my son, I always use my son as an example. He just graduated with a finance and accounting degree and completing all but one class in his master's of accounting, becoming a CPA. All that being said, he still will come back and say, I've got 5 years in college, 4 years in college. Now it's 4.5, 5 years of playing football. He said, Mom, I've never been taught what you teach. I said, because you're not being taught as an entrepreneur. And I know, Marie, we had a talk earlier today, and you said, schools should teach it. And I'm going to counter that and say they should teach some basic fundamentals, but they are not millionaires. They should not teach this work. They don't know how. They would be the worst to teach this work because they would just teach them how to live like an employee. So they're not the right, I'm going to say, like, lifestyle to do it because they don't live it. And I don't believe you should teach what you don't live. If I wasn't a millionaire, I better not say I can be a money expert, but I better not be the millionaire maker. When I hit my status, I hit it in 8 industries over the last 20 years. So I have 8 industries I've hit millionaire: gas and oil, real estate, recycled glass, supplements. So like I know how to do a lot of these, and I love business. I love business, and I love the foundation of money below it, and I love the investing above it. But your core business and that first 100,000 is the hardest damn money you're ever going to make. So let us help you make your first 100, because what you have to learn, write this down, you have to learn marketing, sales, and cash flow. Not all the counting. You can hire a bookkeeper for that, but you as the leader need to run your marketing to get leads. You need to run sales to get the cash flow, right? And then you manage cash flow through the right forecasting and spending. And that is what I love to do. Those are my like favorite things to teach and get you on track for. Now, I want to say for goal setting, those of you who've already made 100,000, right? And I know I see Roger and Carla out there. I cannot wait to work with you too. If you're already in the millions, I mean, going from like 100 to 1 million is 1 year. Like I can help you get there, but you have to do what we're saying as far as team and systems. You can't, go put your head down and say, I'm going to do my Facebook ads. No, you're not. You're going to hire somebody. You're not good at them. Unless you're an expert at it, you're going to hire it. You're going to strengthen your strengths this year, 2023. You're going to hire your weaknesses. Now let's go to the next slide and we'll talk about the VIP for just a moment. And then after that, Steve, can you give the poll results to us?
I think there was a technical difficulty in the poll. It wasn't reading the responses. So continue to jump into the chat and put in what you're interested in for 2023, and we'll go back and review those responses.
Okay, perfect. But let's fix this because I do want this survey to come back out. So upgrade. So VIP, I love it. These 2 gentlemen were at our Gen W conference. That's where you see this latest picture. This was the end of October. If you see Glenn Morshower, he's a world famous actor. He is known for 24. He's a general on Transformers. If you've ever taken your kids on a Transformer ride at Universal Studios, his voice is right there and you'll see his picture. I love that man. He's one of my dearest friends. And Tom Ziegler, Zig Ziglar's son, will be with us talking. So you're getting 2 hours. You're getting tonight's replay, and you'll get a replay of Tom. Tom will be with us around 5 o'clock. And then going for another, 45 to an hour, we'll be answering questions. I did a bonus session on your operating agreements. So those of you who have businesses, there are 9 things that no one talks about, including LegalZoom and most law firms, that everyone forgets in an operating agreement. Scott and I go through those. I call it design your divorce while you're in love. So if you're going to start a company, you better start designing that, how you're going to exit and still be friends if you do a 3-year run in a company with somebody. So that's a really great, that was our VIP class last year, actually. And we don't release that. This is the first time we're releasing it. You're going to get our 2-hour talk that Glenn did at our big table on October 30th, just brilliantly done. And you're going to get another bonus training from me and Randy on how do you build a 4-hour business plan and do it very quick. So you just have an operational business plan for 2023. So for $97, you're getting all of those goodies. So click on the link and sign up. And you need to do that sooner than later, because behind the scene, our team is getting ready to divide the room at 5, a little after 5 when Tom joins us. Now let's go to the next slide. Here's where we're going to dig deep. Results require commitments. Now we've talked about commitment. Commitment is at all costs. And I really right now, I want you to write down the 5 people you spend the most time with. And on a scale of 1 to 10, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, how many of them are a 10 in supporting you, right? So who are the 5 people around you? And a scale of 0 to 10 on support, how many of them are saying, oh my God, I can't believe you're still following that girl. Like, you're never going to do this. They're the excuse builders. Like, you can have social friends and you can have other people, but when it comes to money and finance and business, you just don't talk about it unless it's inside this community. Because they don't know what they don't know. And there's just interesting, odd opinions. I think it's fascinating that you ask somebody who's not a millionaire how you're going to get there, or how to do a real estate deal, or how to arbitrage Airbnb, or whatever the conversation is. It's that's just an interesting chat. You're not going to get anywhere. That's a waste of time. And like I said earlier, I don't do motion and busy. I'm extremely efficient and get a lot done really quick. I always say our company does in 1 year what most companies can't get done in 5 years. And it's because we have really high team efficiency. You see the team that's around. We produce a lot.
Thanks for listening to the Real Money Talks podcast. Your host has been Loral Langemeier, author of 5 New York Times bestsellers, money expert on Dr. Phil, CNN, CNBC, The Street TV, Fox News, and The View. Want to learn more about off-Wall Street investing, tax strategies, and multi-million-dollar business strategies? Visit liveoutloud.com/podcast for past episodes, show notes, and resources. For some special wealth building gifts only for Laurel's podcast listeners, visit liveoutloud.com/podcast gifts. Do you have a burning question for Laurel? Visit asklaurel.com to submit your question, and it may just be covered on a podcast episode. So stay tuned and be sure to subscribe to get new episodes every week.